The club got real big real fast. They started running drugs, gambling, prostitution.
Is that what this club is now?
How you doing?
I'm good. I like your shirt.
I decided to wear something from the 70s. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, also one of my favorite films.
Yeah, all right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you've done a lot of cool stuff in your career, but if someone has never seen anything you've done before, what is the first thing you'd like them watching and why?
Wow. Maybe 6 Ways to Sunday. That movie, Debbie Harry played my mom. That's kind of where I started with that movie. I punched Isaac Hayes in the nose. That was fun. Just to be able to hang out with him is fun. I don't know. That's kind of where I sort of started. I was like a little kid in this thing, and I had split personalities, and one was terrified, and the other one just wanted to fight you. That's kind of me in a nutshell. So maybe there.
I know that you love motorcycles. So this movie must have been like you hearing the script and who's involved. You must have been like salivating. So I'm just curious, how much did you pay to be in the movie?
Well, it started, I was at Cannes, and I was working in Paris on Daryl Dixon, and I sat next to Jeff Nichols at a dinner, and we were talking for like an hour and having fun, and he goes, "Hey, I'm doing a movie, directing this movie about Danny Lyon's book, The Bikeriders." And I went, "Wait, are you talking about the photography book?" And he goes, "You know about the photography book?" And I go, "I have a couple of prints at my house. I have a signed book from Danny. I'm big into photography. Of course I know." And then I go, "Wait, who are you?" And he goes, "I'm Jeff Nichols." And I was like, "Wait, did you direct Mud?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Why didn't you tell me you were Jeff Nichols that directed Mud?" And Mud's one of my favorite movies. And then he said, "Well, I have this script, and I'll send it to you." And then I read it, and I said, "Man, you have a lot of good-looking guys in this movie. Can I try something? Can I go in the other direction?" And he goes, "Yeah, go for it." Then I'd fly from Paris back and forth to Ohio and shoot the movie.
Wait, so you were shooting this at the same time?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think people realize what that is. Like the amount of hours and what it means.
It's a long flight. So I kept going back and forth. And plus I was shooting Daryl Dixon, and I didn't want to look like Daryl Dixon in this movie. So I kind of took on this whole thing, and I'd show up in Ohio and I'd go to like Starbucks and stores with these teeth in and try to see if people could understand me. And that kind of started that way.
That's so funny because I wanted to ask you, you have a look that a lot of people recognize. I mean,
Yeah.
you're famous. And so I'm just curious, what is it like with that makeup and that teeth and basically being like, you can probably be anonymous.
You know, the crazy part was the cast hadn't seen me like that yet. So my first time they saw me was me riding that motorcycle down the hill and coming up to the bench and meeting them. And I'm sitting up there, and it has a suicide shift that I can't grab hold of the top of because it's a rubber duck in bronze, and I'm going to break it. So I have to thread it with my two little fingers and try to find the gear, in a 56 panhead. And then right before the first AD tells me to go down, the makeup lady's right here. And I was like, "Can I borrow your glasses?" And I put on these pink glasses, and they go. And I'm like, "Wait, are these prescription?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay." And I just went down, not being able to see people. And there was like 200 people in the field. And then I pull up and I meet them for the first time, and I talk, and they're looking at me like, what's happening right now? Which worked for the movie, but that's how that happened. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I was terrified. Yeah. I was like, this is either going to work or not. You know what I mean? So
that's amazing. So one of the things that people don't realize is that motorcycles from the 60s and 70s do not act like the motorcycles of today.
Oh, no.
So talk a little bit about the differences between vintage bikes like that and what modern motorcycles do.
Well, suicide shift's a bit different. You don't switch gears with your left toe, or some British bikes, your right toe. It's like a car. So you have to take your hands off of the handlebars, and you have to find the gear. And those bikes, they're really heavy, and they don't have disc brakes. So you don't stop on a dime, you roll to a stop. A lot of them, the throttle, they don't have kickback throttles. So what that means is when you're giving it gas, you have to ungive it gas. Otherwise, you'll just keep going. So there's a whole, and plus you have to sort of wipe those bikes with a diaper to keep them running anyway. It's a 50-50 chance if you can kick that thing over. And after 30 minutes of doing this, you're literally exhausted. Yeah, they're much different than bikes of today.
One of the things that's really crazy about this movie is you have all these actors on a highway driving around, no helmets, vintage bikes. I mean, that's like a real stunt, you know,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I guess
especially
so,
for
yeah.
insurance companies. So what is
Yeah.
it like watching all that and being a part of stuff like that?
I mean, it's cool. It's, I like it. You can tell when a bike is on a trailer and you're being pulled. I can anyway.
I can too.
I can also tell the difference when I hear a motorcycle if they didn't use the real sound, because sometimes they'll cut the sound and then they'll put it in later, and you can tell the difference with the sound as well, which is a thing that bothers bikers, you know. But I don't know. There's a feeling of guys on a motorcycle, a bunch of guys and girls on bikes that I don't know. I like to ride in a pack and I like to ride solo. I like them both.
Before I run out of time with
Yeah.
you, I'm really looking forward to Ballerina, which is the
Cool.
John Wick spinoff, and I know you're a part of it.
Yeah.
What can you tease about your role and being a part of the film?
It was painful. I just got back from Budapest where we added more fight scenes to it. So I went from Japan to Budapest, back to Japan basically, and it's high octane. It's a cool story. It's well acted, visually stunning, but it's just like bang, 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 bang. And I know Keanu, and my hat's off to him because it's a very physical, full on. I need a bottle of Advil all day long type of a job. But it's fun. It's super fun, and it's choreographed very. It's tight. The choreography is like tight. There's no like in Daryl Dixon, it's a loose fight. It's a sloppy fight. There's no sloppy fights in that. It's like pow.
Yeah, I was going to say, you get in on like a one of those highly choreographed, or maybe
yeah.
more?
Oh, a ton of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Last thing for you. I am a fan of watching you play Daryl Dixon.
Oh.
I know season 2 is getting ready to come out.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So A, what can you tease? And B, how long do you think Daryl Dixon, is it a show that you think could go for a lot more years?
I think it's got some time left in it. I want that character to end correctly. It started correctly. I put too much work into it to be a drone shot waving goodbye. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
I want him to get his justice. I want, it still has a huge fan base. I get mobbed all the time because of that show. In France, when the posters went up, it was bananas. And we're about to start season 3, but I will say season 2. The finale of season 2 is the best 1 hour Walking Dead anything ever. Yeah, and I've said it in press before. Like I stick to it. It's mind blowing.
I can't wait to see it actually.
Yeah, it's
And
great.
I've been a fan of yours for a long time.
Oh, I
Thank you for
appreciate
giving me your time.
It's my pleasure, Ted.